back in the building, and we getting down to the gritty gritty. About 5 games left for most teams. That last 5 games is almost 4 games for most of these teams, maybe 3. And we get into a predicament that I didn't even think would be possible. As I said, the Brooklyn Nets had it all, and they had it all ready to go for these playoffs. Now, as we look at this game today and in detail, it's a troublesome point that the fact is the Nets don't have the ball game that is the ball game at this current state of NBA. All right, it is what it is in the flesh. Let's be real. No more ISO. The problem is there's no more ISO, guys. These teams, Trey is indicative of that, are able to pass. Pick and roll is stupid. Step backs are stupid. Kevin Durant, no offense, love him. He's from my era. He is from the one-on-one ISO, Carmelo, go get it era. You see the hard dribble. See, for some of the guys in this era, that would have been some type of step back move to get in a free space. In our day, it was a speed move, a power move, or maybe a nice little hesitation crossover to just get this guy leaning one way and then make the score. Irving is in the same ilk, but he has some step back game in his repertoire. Trey is pure new school. Okay, pure new school in his step back abilities. The problem is the creativity when you have the little bouncy step dribble that Trey has is amazing. All right, there's a couple guys that got it. People understand what I'm saying with the bouncy step dribble. KPJ from the Rockets. Old Jamal Crawford. He has the bouncy dribble. Jason Williams, White Chocolate, had the bouncy dribble. That's what I'm talking about. Trey has a little bit of that, which just makes him a lot more creative. Kyrie Irving is not a team ball player, okay? Never was since Duke. He's a scoring point guard, all right? He's a scoring point guard, and that may be an issue. If you talk about a team where Lonzo Ball would have fit very well, this would have been it, all right? Because they don't have a point guard. Now, the way that these guys hold the ball so much in the offense is a problem for a lot of teams. Kevin Durant went for 55. So, part of me talking shit about their offense, I got to be real. Let's be real with what happened. The problem with the Nets, as I mentioned before, is that even though you got Dragic, you lost your defense with Javon Carter. You weren't utilizing him correctly. He would have been perfect to try to guard Trae Young tonight, and they lost that. Javon Carter is off with the Milwaukee Bucks, who to me are a top 3 defensive team in the league. Okay, they're that good defensively. Offensively, you wouldn't know, but defensively, they're scary. And you lost that. James Johnson's an old school guy, right? I really like him, his skill set. I think he's a great plug in for at times. But they're starting to rely on him a little bit more, which is I don't think that's bad. I like James Johnson's game. Drummond is there as well from a defensive inside. He can be a strong man. But anything to deal with a pick and roll is going to be a problem. Let's go ahead and look at what happened as far as the game, right? What really happened as far as the game and the stats for the night. That's what I want to look at really in this NBA. And then we're going to go to the standings for this team. So what I'm trying to get at is, guys, there's a predicament here that Brooklyn's in the 10th spot, okay? Is there any chance that Washington can catch up? It looks like no. There's only 4 or 5 games left. But, they're out of it. The more losses you have, they got a longer road if they can't get into the 8th spot. A much longer road with the play-in. They're going to be facing teams that have bouncy dribble guys that are creative. LaMelo and Trae Young. Facts is facts. So it's going to be a tough road. If they were to win, remember how it rolls. The last 4 teams, 7 and 8 play, okay? And the 8 guy, whoever wins that gets into the 7th slot. Then that team that lost a 7-8 game, right? They still have an opportunity for the 8th slot, but they got to play the winner of the 9-10 game, all right? The 9 and 10 team be Charlotte and Brooklyn if it was going on right now. All right, and then that team then plays the 8th team. They play for the 8th spot. Then they got to go in and face the Heat. You get my drift? And all the talk on Harden is stupid. And I thought, I said Harden's pretty selfish. Harden looks good right now, man. He went to the better team. I mean, his decision point right now is looking pretty good, and the NBA is a bunch of name brands, right? Whoever the name brand is, you switch from Amiri to D, go Dior then to Amiri, and what's the new hottest gun right now, right? But you rest on your laurels, like Durant and Irving is all you need. The defense is also what you need. Some long players, some good draft picks. I do like Cam Thomas. I think he's not being given enough breathing room to really let loose. That's one of the pieces that's not playing. Let's go ahead and look at this, because I hate being a talker, not a solution type ninja. At the end of the day, let's go ahead and take a peek at the recap of this game and the box score. Let's get gritty, man. All right, 115 and 122. Let's check the box score. Let's be straight up. Whew. 31 points, 12 of 32. But he was 7 for 14 from 3. I'm looking at Irving's stats. They started Edwards for some reason. He was 3 of 6, 2 for 4. Efficient. Drummond had 8 for 13. I mean, not bad. Patty Mills was dead. 0 for 7. There goes your issues right there. Okay, so right away, you can see a tremendous game by Durant. A really efficient game by Durant, too. A tremendous game for him. Wow. This is tough, boy. This is tough of what he's done. Wow. Kyrie 6 assists. Yeah, just walking through this, guys. I mean, Pat Mills, horrible game. Horrible. Cam Thomas, horrible game. Okay, that's who didn't show up. James Johnson has to give me more, bro. You got to give me a little more than that, man. Come on. You got to give me a little more than that, James. But look at the bench and what they got. I mean, to me, Ben Simmons need to wake up, bro. I mean, seriously, Steph Curry didn't play as well. Remember that. Seth Curry didn't play. So that's top out. Mr. Harris is out for the year. What a shame. Would have been nice to have Harris. Brown was out. So when we put it in perspective, this loss, even though I'm talking, they didn't really have their full team. They weren't at full straight. They were probably at 70%, 75%. Missing a lot of guys. So that's what had happened. At the end of the day, let's look at the Atlanta full strength. Hunter, the speed Cabarro, they would play him a little bit more. Trey, pretty efficient. Actually, Kyrie was, they're about equal what they did. So that's a 1-for-1. Daniel Gallinari, tremendous off the bench. That was key. Lewis Williams, he's not doing the Lewis Williams things. He's older. DeLon Wright, though, solid and good defensively. They're missing John Collins, though, guys. So this is also a team that's not full strength, so they kind of evened out. I'm liking what I'm seeing on the bottom end here for the Atlanta Hawks. I do think need a little bit more offensive power, even though you got Herter and your boy Bogdanovic doing well. I think they need a little bit more power. Kevin Herter got to show up, bro. I see you. Don't think I missed you, bro. Got to show up. But back to Brooklyn, back to Brooklyn. Not a full strength, but, still a winnable game. Both teams were about even. John Collins missing from the other side, which is a big loss. He's the second best player on their team. The Nets did have their two best guys there. So interesting how we're playing out. Nets losing ground. They have to win it out here to try to kind of make themselves in contention. I would say I like the 7th slot versus Milwaukee versus the slot they'll be in facing the hot-ass Miami Heat. Because that's going to be painful for them. That's going to be a war that they probably don't want in the first round, and I could see them losing. So next game is at the Rockets. Let's see the schedule, straight to schedule, and understand what happens here for the Nets as they try to get into the 7th slot. I think it has to be the goal. I don't want the Heat, bro. Seriously, but. Nets are solidly in position to really take the house here. Knicks and Rockets should be winnable games, and then you have the Cleveland Cavaliers to end it off for the last 3. Let's see if there's more games or anything left. Then they get the Pacers. So strength of schedule wise, it's definitely looks like to the Nets' favor. They can win 3 out of 4 of these games. I'm giving the Cavaliers a nod of the head, but they can really win all 4. So an opportunity With 4 games, let's go ahead and look at the strength of schedule on the other boys there in the standings, right? As we go through uh, the Cavaliers, who are they trying to catch up to? If they would have won out the 4 games, 44-38, I think it will put them at. And the Cavaliers would have to lose quite a few games, and so is the Hornets. Let's go ahead and look at what the Cavaliers' strength of schedule is and who's up next. 76ers, that's going to be rough. Their positioning, their positioning. Magic, Bucks. Tougher schedule. They could get 2 losses out of that. It's gonna be tough on the Nets, man. I mean, it's gonna be tough. They need to take the 8th spot. It really doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. Less games played if they get into the 7th or 8th slot. It's gonna be a war either way. But the Nets need to figure out team ball. Need to figure out team ball. There's a lot more assets, and then to argue what I just said, team ball. Them niggas gotta hit these shots. Patty Mills, Cam Thomas, you gotta hit your shots, bro. I'm trying to advocate for you, but honestly, you had enough shots. I mean, to keep it real, Gully, you had enough shots. You just wasn't hitting. I'm signing off here. Your boy, Step Back Mikey, in the flesh. Yes, sir. We go in NBA. Brooklyn Nets. We're Brooklyn now. Keep kissing. Peace.